What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at the Willpower Cup once again, and the team we're going to look at today is Shadow Drapion, Galarian Rapidash, and Annihilate. Now, the main focus of today's video is going to be Galarian Rapidash, and it's actually going to be Galarian Rapidash with Wild Charge and Mega Horn. Now, the recommended moveset of Galarian Rapidash is Body Slam and Mega Horn, and that is for its bait potential. But Wild Charge is not that much more expensive and hits really hard, and it hits those pesky dark flyers for super effective damage. So without further ado, let's hop into some battles. Of course, we are running the Ice Fang Shadow Drapion because it's so strong in this meta, and it's something that helps with the flyers that Annihilate doesn't want to see. In the first match, bit of a tricky lead. We see Drapion into Primeape. I safe switch into my Rapidash because I have two better answers in the back, and now in comes Mandibuzz after one super effective charge move from the Primeape there. I am able to make it to Wild Charge number 1, now able to make it to Wild Charge number 2. Is the opponent going to let this go, or are they going to commit the shield? No, they are going to let it go, opting for some energy on their Primeape, but Primeape not going to get to a charge move before I make it to Wild Charge number 3. Wild Charge number 3 grabs a shield from my opponent. That is absolutely massive. Now I have the alignment that I need. In comes the Annihilate. Annihilate can survive one Rage Fist that is not boosted very comfortably. Now I will just look for the full farm down. The opponent doesn't end up going for it. They bank a Rage Fist. In comes a Murkrow in the back. Murkrow is going to get Ice Fang farmed down by the Drapion, and we are able to take that win. Tricky lead in the next match. We've got Shadow Drapion into Claydol. Now we were kind of ABA weak to this Pokemon, so we have to stay in with our Shadow Drapion. But of course, we do have super effective fast and charge move pressure with the Shadow Drapion. So the opponent actually commits a shield in this matchup, and if they commit to the full farm down, I'm going to make it to a second Aqua Tail, and this Aqua Tail is actually going to grab a shield from my opponent, which means we just get a 2 shield advantage in the early matchup. I now come in with the Annihilate, hoping that my opponent blind throws a Rock Tomb, but they do not. They full send an Ice Beam there, and that will allow them to get to a second charge move here. This could be enough for the Ice Beam, so I will respect it with a shield. It is the Rock Tomb bait, unfortunately, but I can instantly boost my attack with the Rage Fist. I will go for the full undercharge here so that I can commit to a counter farm down, but the opponent is not going to let that happen. In comes a Rapidash in the back. Rapidash looking to overfarm here, maybe trying to get to the back-to-back Wild Charges, but I'm going to throw my Wild Charge right away. I think they're in Wild Charge range, but no, they actually live on 1 HP. I will commit the shield. If they full send a Wild Charge, my Fairy Wind that went through will do even more damage, and that picks up the knockout. In the back is a Pawniard. I'm going to outpace the Pawniard to a charge move as well with that residual energy on my Rapidash. That does massive chip. In comes the Claydol. Claydol gets countered farm down. They're going to be forced to throw their energy, or else one counter would probably knock them out from this range. Night Slash picks up the knockout on the Annihilate, but can they outpace me to the charge move? No, they cannot. We make it to yet another Wild Charge. I don't even have to hit any bubbles. Wild Charge from this range easily knocks out the Pawniard, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, we got Shadow Drapion into Annihilate. This is a neutral lead, and we actually get to the Aqua Tail at the exact same pacing the opponent gets to a Rage Fist. However, Rage Fist is resisted, so I'm actually going to stay in this matchup. The opponent ends up going for a catch onto the Pawniard. I make a mistake here. I throw my Aqua Tail, which is arguably a mistake because I have such a hard answer with Annihilate in the back, and even if they get the boost, this is a very dominant matchup for the Annihilate. They do not get the boost. We get the full counter farm down, but if they come back with their Annihilate, they will have an energy lead. The question is, can I survive a Rage Fist from this range? But the opponent instead has other ideas. They come in with their Shadow Murkrow to get an energy lead, but these counters have put them deep into the yellow health range, and now I can just come in with the Drapion, force them to throw their energy. I will commit the shield because I want that Ice Fang to connect, and as soon as it does, in comes the Annihilate. The Annihilate overfarms by 1, which means this could be the Ice Punch, and we catch a non-stab neutral charge move instead of a super effective Rage Fist. I will now go for the the Wild Charge on the CMP tie. The opponent ends up committing the shield here, but because their fast move is double resisted, I will commit the shield, knowing that I can always outpace. I just have to watch for a catch here, but because we switch at relatively the same time, I end up going for the Wild Charge. As they get to their charge move on 1 HP, Wild Charge picks up the knockout. Now I can pivot into my Drapion. We get the Ice Fang farm down of the Murkrow, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, we've got a Moltres on the lead. This is a fantastic lead. The opponent will safe switch into a Pawniard, and this time I make the right decision. I come in with my Annihilate. I can take any one charge move here. Night Slash is only neutral damage. They get the boost, but it does not matter because we get the full counter farm down. Our counters are double super effective in that matchup. Back in comes the Moltres, but Moltres now will be hit with a super effective Ice Punch, and Ice Punch from this range will do about 50% to the Moltres, and they will have to throw their energy, or else I will get to a second Ice Punch, and that's exactly what my opponent is going to do. They're going to throw right before I get to a Rage Fist. Fly picks up the knockout on the Annihilate. I come in with my Rapidash to get a slight energy lead, knowing that if I need to throw the Wild Charge this way, I can at least pivot out of this matchup and reset my debuff. I get the Wild Charge off. They throw their energy right away, but now that I've grabbed a shield, I know I can always just commit shields back in this matchup and win this game because I have an energy lead. I now can go for the Aqua Tail one turn before they make it to Aqua Tail number 2. The opponent will commit the shield, and are they going to commit the double shield is the question. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Our Drapion has so much play into the final 2 Pokemon, so I'm just watching for the catch. They go for the catch there. I commit to the overfarm. We come out with an Aqua Tail loaded, and an Aqua Tail from this range will pick up the knockout on the opponent's Drapion, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, we've got Shadow Drapion into Manabuzz, so another fantastic lead. The Dark Flyers are out and about today. Going to stay in this matchup because we have the Ice Fang. The opponent safe switches into a Claydol, and I make an interesting play. I end up coming in with my Annihilate. Now, why do I do this? Because Rock Tomb is resisted, and for some reason, opponents love to go for resisted Rock Tombs as opposed to literally any charge move. They could be running super effective Shadow Ball, they could be running neutral Ice Beam or Scorching Sands, but for some reason, they commit to the resisted Rock Tomb. That said, I will be able to outpace, make it to back-to-back Rage Fist. The opponent commits the double shield. They look for the full Mud Zap farm down, but that is okay because at this point, I've put them in Ice Fang farm down range. So back in comes the Drapion. Drapion will be hit with a Rock Tomb most likely here, which does lower my attack, but I can commit to the full farm down. I get the Ice Fang farm down, and now I will pivot instantly into my Rapidash. We've seen this Pokemon here before, the Manabuzz. It was on the lead. I will commit the shield on the very first charge move. Aerial Ace. Bait is shielded up, but that is only neutral damage. I will be able to go for the Wild Charge. Is this enough to pick up the knockout? No, it is not. And unfortunately, fortunately, the opponent is not able to make it to another charge move. So all I have to do is make it to back-to-back Wild Charges. Wild Charge number 1. I'm gonna grab the first shield from the second shield from the opponent, but I have a super effective Aqua Tail banked, and we know we win CMP with the Rapidash. So I know this game is already over. Incineroar gets the Fire Fang farm down, but it does not matter because we have the Wild Charge banked, and Wild Charge from this range easily picks up the knockout on the Incineroar, and we are able to take that win. And that is a 5-0 set with Galarian Rapidash. Into the next match, we've got Claydol on the lead. Bit of an awkward lead, and we've seen this matchup before, so we're just going to have to stay in with the Ice Fang Drapion. Fortunately, we do outpace to the first charge move, making it to the Aqua Tail, and because Claydols love to shield the first charge move, we end up grabbing an advantage in this first game. And once again, if they commit to the full farm down, I will make it to a second Aqua Tail. Are they willing to commit the double shield? Yes, they are. Once again, the exact same thing. I'm going to come in with the Annihilate, hoping that the opponent throws the resisted Rock Tomb once again, but this opponent instead, once again, goes for the Rock Tomb. Very strange play. They make it to another charge move here. This could be enough for the Ice Beam or Shadow Ball, so I will respect it with a shield, but it's just another Ice Beam. Just another Rock Tomb. In comes a Manabuzz. Manabuzz now will be chipped with an Ice Punch, and I think this Ice Punch should put it into range where the Fairy Winds plus the Wild Charge will be enough to knock out. It will go for a charge move here. I will let this go, knowing that I can survive this pretty comfortably. Aerial Ace connects. That does very little damage. I will look to overfarm here. Now I'm going to go for the Wild Charge, and making sure that that last Air Slash does not register. Wild Charge picks up the knockout on the Manabuzz. In comes a Pawniard. Pawniard will be hit with the Wild Charge, but the opponent makes a really nice catch onto their Claydol. I will go for the full undercharge, and now we'll look for the full counter farm down of my Annihilate, and I get it. That is absolutely massive. Back in comes the Pawniard. Pawniard will be hit with a resisted Ice Punch, but this is only single resisted damage, and these counters are doing so much damage they can't even get to the back-to-back Night Slashes before I get the full counter farm down, and Fury Cutter is double resisted in this matchup, which means we get the farm down, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, we've got Shadow Drapion on into Pawnyard. Now, this is an awkward lead, and we're kind of A/B weak to this Pokemon, so we have to stay in this lead. However, the opponent does kind of throw on alignment there, going for the X's or right before I can make it to my first Aqua Tail. I will now go for the Aqua Tail. And if this connects, I will snipe with my Annihilate to get the farm down, and I do. That is absolutely massive, because now the opponent can come in with a Rapidash here, but Rapidash is typically on Body Slam and Mega Horn, both of which are double resisted in this matchup, so I know I don't have to commit shields unless the opponent is running Wild Charge, in which case, you know, there's no way of knowing that. So I will end up letting this charge move go, hoping that they are everything is double resisted, and they go for the Mega Horn, confirming my suspicions that they are on the Body Slam Mega Horn combination. Second Rage Fist grabs a shield from the opponent, and now in comes Rapidash of my own. I will respect this potential Mega Horn with a shield. They full send the Mega Horn. That is absolutely massive. Now I can look to pick up the knockout with the Wild Charge right before they make it to a Body Slam, and Wild Charge from this range picks up the knockout on the Rapidash. In the back is a Claydol. Claydol, of course, will be hit with a super effective Mega Horn. They do somehow sneak an extra Mud Slap through there. Maybe they got one turn lag on bringing, but Mega Horn does massive damage. They will end up getting the full farm down, but in comes the Drapion. Drapion gets the Ice Fang farm down, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, we've got a pretty decent lead. We've got Drapion into Sableye. Now, this is a matchup where having Ice Fang is pretty nice because our fast move is neutral instead of resisted. They end up coming with an Ice Fang Drapion of their own, so I will connect with an Aqua Tail and then come in with Annihilate, knowing that Annihilate has absolutely no play into the Sableye, and because Sableye has Shadow Claw and Foul Play, it's a pretty bad matchup for the Annihilate. I don't really need my Annihilate, whereas Drapion resists both of those fast and charge moves. So now I would come out with the charge move loaded. Rage Fist is at least neutral damage, so if they want the full farm down, they will have to take that Rage Fist. And now that we can come back in with the Drapion, they do have enough for potential Dazzling Gleam or Power Gem here, so I will respect it with a shield. They full send the Dazzling Gleam. That is a huge shield. In the back is a Rapidash. Now Rapidash, of course, has great charge move coverage here, so I will connect with an Aqua Tail, grabbing that first shield from my opponent, and now in comes Rapidash of my own. I will go for the Wild Charge on the CMP tie, as when they get to the back-to-back Wild Charges, and they actually are on Wild Charge, so making it to this charge move is super, super nice. Is the opponent willing to commit the shield? Yes, they are. Now that my defense is lowered, they could go for the full Fairy Wind farm down, but for some reason the opponent throws energy, maybe worried about where my energy was at. Now back in comes the Drapion. Drapion just going to look for the full Ice Fang farm down here to come out with energy loaded, knowing that the Rapidash is energy dry. Looking for the Ice Fang farm down, we get the resisted Ice Fang farm down, coming out with a Crunch loaded, and Crunch is neutral damage, super effective on the Psychic, but resisted on the Fairy. Crunch is stab, it picks up the knockout on the Rapidash, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, we've got Drapion into Rapidash. Now, if we were on Poison Thing, this would be a fantastic matchup, but the opponent knows this. They know we're most likely to be on Ice Fang, so they stay in this matchup. I end up tabbing out of my app, which is very unfortunate. I will connect with the Aqua Tail, but fortunately the opponent does commit the shield. But that is okay, because here is the Rapidash going for the Wild Charge. That is not enough to pick up the knockout. We get the catch, and even though we didn't get a resisted Body Slam or Mega Horn catch, they still will have to throw a second charge move. Wild Charge does pick up the knockout. They do have quite a bit of residual energy here, but that is okay, because I can come in with my Rapidash of my own, commit a single shield here, and go for the full Fairy Wind farm down. They full send another Wild Charge. Now I'm going to look for the full Fairy Wind farm down. Now, what wants to take Rapidash energy? It's going to be a Mandibuzz in the back. This is an Air Slash Mandibuzz. Air Slash Mandibuzz will be hit with Wild Charge number 1, and this will lower my defense ×2, so I will pivot instantly into my Drapion. We actually get the catch onto the Drapion. Did we get the Foul Play catch, or is it the Aerial Ace? It is the neutral Aerial Ace, and in the back is Claydol. Claydol will be hit with a super effective stab Shadow Crunch unless they commit the shield. They do end up committing the shield, and that is absolutely massive. We get the defense fall, which is even bigger because now a Mega Horn will be enough to pick up the knockout on the Claydol. That one-shots it, and now all we have to do is outpace the Mandibuzz, and that is the easiest thing known to man, because Mandibuzz is extremely slow on Air Slash. Wild Charge picks up the knockout on the Mandibuzz, and we are able to take that win. Into, I believe, the final match of the video, or the second to last match of the video, we've got Drapion into Rapidash. The opponent is once again going to stay in this matchup, expecting us to be on the Ice Fang here, but we do outpace to the charge move, as it is 7 Fairy Winds to a Mega Horn, and Body Slam is pretty non-threatening to the Drapion. I'm going to stay in this matchup this time, let this go, hoping that they go for the body slam bait, and it is only the body slam, which is absolutely massive. I go for the catch onto my Annihilate, and I am unsuccessful as the opponent also makes a catch attempt of their own onto an air slash man buzz. But fortunately for me, I can outpace, make it to the Ice Punch. Ice Punch puts them into the yellow health range, and now I think that this is in one shield farm down range for my Rapidash. And setting up my Rapidash in a situation like this to get an energy lead would be absolutely huge. Back in comes the Drapion. Instead, I will go for the Aqua Tail to pick up the knockout here, knowing that I don't have to commit anything here. They get the full Karate Chop farm down, but now in comes the Rapidash. Rapidash can live one super effective Rage Fist from the non-Shadow Primate, and their fast move is double resisted here, so I'm more than comfortable just looking for the full Fairy Wind farm down. I will commit the shield on the second Rage Fist, and now it's just about whether I can come out with back-to-back charge moves loaded for the Pokemon on the lead, and I can now. Does this Fairy Wind KO, or can I live this on 1 HP? Wild Charge number 1 grabs the final shield from my opponent. They end up going for the body slam on the CMP tie, hoping that I'm on 1 HP, but I am not on 1 HP. I survive it through the shield, making it to a second Wild Charge, and Wild Charge picks the knockout on the Rapidash, and we are able to take that win. So yeah, that is a Galarian Rapidash in the Willpower Cup. This Pokemon is extremely flexible. Yes, it is glassy, but this moveset really allows it to hit virtually everything in this meta for super effective damage. And its typing is really unique. Only really weak to the ghost types in this meta, which makes it extremely strong. So definitely a Pokemon worth considering if you're looking for a solid push. I used this team to climb all the way up to 2450 ELO, closing in on veteran finally. And definitely Rapidash was the main reason for that. That said, I want to say a special thank you to the expert trainer members on this channel, Benny Hemlock, Dr. Mustache, Sohan Patil, and Eliana, as well as the legend trainer members on this channel, Andrew Pitten, Musachu, Noodleman, Speedster, Estros, Fast Eddie Boss, Jamie Finn, CD Slaskus, and Castle. So thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace!